Good morning, everyone. Good to see you. Thank you for coming. Yes. Today we are going to continue to study the Sutra on 8 realizations. And today this is the 4th talk on this sutra. Before we study the sutra, I would like to ask any volunteer to read the contents from the top to the 5th realization. Anyone? Do we all have copies?
I'm going to ask, does anyone need a copy?
Okay. The 5th realization.
Wholeheartedly, day and night, a disciple of the Buddha should recite and meditate on the 8 realizations discovered by the Mahasattvas, the great beings. The first realization is the awareness that the world is impermanent. All political regimes are subject to fall. All things composed of the 4 elements are empty and contain the seeds of suffering. Human beings are composed of 5 skandhas, aggregates, and are without a separate self. They are always in the process of change, constantly being born and constantly dying. They are empty of self, without sovereignty. The mind is the source. Meditate on this fact, you can gradually be released from samsara, the realm of birth and death. The second realization is the awareness that more desire brings more suffering. All hardships in daily life arise from greed and desire. Those with little desire and ambition can relax, their minds and bodies free of entanglement. The third realization is that the human mind is always searching for possessions and never feels fulfilled. This is the awareness that ignorance is the cause of the endless round of birth and death. Therefore, bodhisattvas always and eloquence. This enables them to educate living beings and bring them to the realm of great joy.
Thank you. Thank you. I think you need the copies of the sutra. Yes. Lynn, thank you for the reading. Thank you. Last time we discussed the 4th realization. This time we wanted to continue. And the 5th realization is the awareness that ignorance is the because of endless run of birth and death. I wanted to mention this to you. In Buddhism, the more I study, the more I feel, I discovered that in Buddhism we don't concern about birth and death because this is a natural phenomenon. But in Buddhism we do concern after birth how you live, and also how are you going to face death. The attitude of yourself, how to see birth and death, how to manage yourself, free yourself from the the fear of death. How to use your wisdom, not just to survive, to enjoy your life. That is the essence of Buddha's teaching. So when we see birth and death in Buddhism, we don't concern about the phenomenon of birth and death. This is the body-changing phenomenon. It's naturally happen with everyone. But in Buddhism, we do concern about how are you going to live in your life. Also, how are you going to deal with your own death. Most of the time, we have fears about death. A few days ago, a member of our temple, he passed away. Actually, I met him at the Bodhi Center on one Wednesday, I think the Wednesday before last Wednesday. He was there, walking with us, eating with us. But after he back home for about 2 days, suddenly he passed away. He was 84 years old. Not very young, yeah. But one of his friends told me, he said this gentleman told him he wanted to live for about more years until he reached 120 years old. So this gentleman actually wished to live longer, but somehow he passed away when he was about 84 years old. I still feel he's a very fortunate person without a lot of suffering. He slept in bed. One day he just passed away in a short time. So actually it's good. Yeah. And when we talk about ignorance, that is the roots of all kinds of problems. When we have ignorance, we are not just able to deal with our daily life. We create troubles for ourselves and also for others. When we have ignorance, we feel we all wanted to be happy, but somehow the way we are going to do is not going to produce happiness. So that is the problem. So when we talk about 3 poisons, have you heard of poisons? There's a term in Buddhism. As a human being, we want to eradicate those 3 poisons from our life. The first one, normally we say greed. The second one is anger. The third one is ignorance. But when we talk about those, actually ignorance is the roots of greed, is the roots of anger. That is a basic problem in life. And for example, when I say I wanted to be happy, I enjoy eating. Okay, I wanted to find all kinds of food to eat. I feel I wanted to enjoy my life, but I have different kind of food. I wanted to eat every day, and also including something other people cannot eat. we feel this is the way of happiness. But somehow we discover if we don't eat wisely, eating is going to create health problem. The more I eat, the worse of my body is going to, getting bad every day. So having right understanding how to eradicate ignorance is the most important work for us to do. So that's why we wanted to study this sutra, enhance our understanding. Yeah. Without proper understanding, without right understanding, if we still have ignorance inside us all the time, even everyone will agree that I wanted to be happy, but we are going to have all kinds of poisons, greed and anger. I wanted to be happy. If you don't agree with me, I'm going to fight you. So how are we going to create this kind of attitude? I wanted to be happy, but when I feel I'm not satisfied with someone's talk, I cannot manage myself. I don't have a clear mind to guide myself. I don't know how to avoid problems. At the same time, we continue to create problems. I'm not happy, so I'm going to burn your house. I'm not happy, so I'm going to shoot others. And that is the problem. I remember many years ago, a young lady, about 16 years old young lady, came to the temple with her father. The father already called me, Venerable Hangyi, my daughter needs to talk to you. Please spend some time with her. She's not happy. And so one day, I met this young lady. We sat in the small kitchen, and I asked this young lady, what happened to you? And your father said recently you are not very happy at home. You don't talk to your mother. Okay, you always try to argue with your parents. She said, Venerable Hangyi, I feel I lost my freedom, and my mother wants to control my life. Every night I wanted to go out with friends. My mother stops me. Even she allows me to go out. She always set a time for me to come back. Don't be late at, after 11, and you should be home at a certain time. And when I wanted to buy something, she always gave me a lot of opinions. I wanted to enjoy my life, but somehow my mother tried to control everything that I do. So I'm not happy. I wanted to leave home. I feel I should go out. I don't want to stay at home with my parents. So I talked to her for some time, listened to her. Sometimes just let her, explain why she's not happy. Yeah. Of course, when I listened to this young lady, I noticed that the parents actually try to take care of this young lady, try to protect this young lady. And also the parents told me that she wants to do some tattoo on the skin. And the parents stop her. No, you cannot do this. So after we had the conversation for some time, then I invited this young lady. I said, let's meditate for 5 minutes. You don't talk, I don't talk. Just simply be quiet. Let's meditate for about 5 minutes. I do have a question for you to contemplate. Do you really hate your mother? Do you really hate your mother? Because during the conversation, she was so angry about the mother. I don't like her. I wanted to leave her, to get away from her. And I don't want to see her. I don't want to listen to her. There's a lot of anger inside her about her mother. So I asked her to contemplate on this question. Do you really hate your mother? So we meditate for a few minutes. After about 5 minutes, then I said, what is the answer? Tell me the real feeling about, your mind, your heart. Tell me. And do you really hate your mother? Fortunately, this young lady suddenly showed me a different kind of facial expression. Venerable Hangyi, I don't feel I hate my mother. I feel my mother loves me. I feel my mother tries to take care of me. In my mind or my heart, I feel she's not an enemy of me. She's a good person to me. Oh, I said, that's wonderful. That is the foundation for the family. Even you have arguments, even you don't agree with each other, but you still love each other. You feel the love of your mother. That's wonderful. Then let's from this space to think, how are we going to communicate in a family? So I talked to the young lady, for some time. Also, I remind her. I said, today you are still very young. Someday you are going to get married. You are going to have a family. You are going to have your own kids. I guarantee you, you are going to use the same attitude like your mother and father to take care of your kids. You are going to do the same like your mother to protect you. She said, probably I will. So a 16 years old girl, she wants to enjoy her life. She wants to have a freedom in life. She wants to be happy. But the way she's doing in her daily life may create problems in her life. So that's why parents say, don't drink alcohol, don't use drugs, don't put tattoo your own skin, don't go to those friends who never cared about the time, cared about the family's feelings. So the parents try to protect her, try to guide her. Of course, that after I talked to this young lady, and then I talked to her mother. I said, never tell your daughter what to do when you are angry. When you have anger inside you, try to find a time when you feel you can relax, when your daughter can relax. Let's spend 30 minutes together on a conversation. This is what I feel. This is what I want you to know. Tell your daughter what you feel, the most important rules in the family. When you feel you have calmness, you don't have anger at the time, then create a better communication with your daughter. Finally, this daughter entered college for about 4 years. Then she graduated from university in Austin. One day, this young lady called me, Venerable Hangyi, I wanted to invite you for lunch. So the whole family, and they invite me for lunch and say, thanks to me for the meeting with the young lady. So the young lady earning some money. She, invited me for lunch. That was a good ending, for the family. So today, I wanted to remind everyone that, including myself, we all wanted to be happy. When you say, I wanted to be happy, then check on what you are doing in daily life. What kind of reaction you are going to have with all kinds of changing phenomena. If you say, I really wanted to be happy, eradicate your ignorance. Try to manage yourself. Do not use greed and anger to deal with changes. Yeah. Sometimes we cannot control, because we are so addicted to this. Yeah. And the second concept I wanted to share with you is, when we talk about ignorance, most of the time we feel ignorance is without understanding. Yeah. But today there are two categories we need to learn. There are two categories of ignorance. This is from what I understand, based on Buddha's teaching. The first category of ignorance is the ignorance with knowledges. The ignorance with a lot of knowledges. Some people, they will tell you something about their mind and what they believe in. Okay, so some ignorance actually without a lot of knowledges. In the human being's history, many scholars, philosophers, they have a lot of knowledges in their mind. They will tell you something, about what they are thinking about life, but actually it's ignorance. But ignorance without knowledges, including religious leaders. About 1500 years ago in China, we had one scholar in China, Mr. Fan Zhen. He's so smart, and he explains life in his own way. He said, life happens naturally, just like a leaf from the tree and flowing on the river. If you stuck somewhere, that is your life. If you continue to flow, that is your life. Someday the leaf will decay and disappear in the lake, in the water. That is your life. So in his concept, no past, no future. Life just over here for a few decades for us to see. So life happens naturally. No past life, no future life. When we died, that is the end of life. There are a lot of theories from his book. Mr. Fan Zhen, he's very smart. He has a lot of thinking in his mind. He explained the phenomena of life in this way. Do you accept it or not? We have to use our own wisdom. No past, no future. Only present life is real. Okay. And some scholars in India, they also explain in their own way. There are past life. So the present life depends on the past life. Everything we do in this present life depends on the past life, and also is predestinated. You cannot change anything. Today I'm talking to you, I'm having Dharma talk over here with you. It's predestinated, destined in the past life of myself. So today I have to come. Are you going to accept this theory or not? In Buddhism, we don't accept this. Today we still can make decisions. How about I'm not feeling well? Okay, I cannot come, so this program needs change. But according to his theory, even my illness is still predestinated. You cannot change. Today you have to be ill. Or if you are poor, it's predestinated. Yeah. If you are rich, that is according to your past karma. So in this kind of theory, it feels nothing we can do. You can do you don't have to worry. You just live the way it is. You don't have to improve yourself. In Buddhism, we don't agree with this. Yeah. Also, some people will tell us, yeah, we've been created by Supreme Being. In India, there are 4 castes exist in the society. People born from God's mouth, that is the highest caste. Yeah. Born from God's heart, chest, that is all kinds of noble families. Yeah, who has power, who has political, power in the society. Born from God's stomach, those are ordinary citizens. Born from God's feet, those are slaves. So you were born from a creator. Your life being arranged. Okay. Some people still believe in this kind of saying, and so there are some very intelligent people. They are trying to say something, explain life. Okay. But according to Buddha's teaching, those are related with ignorance. Okay. This is the ignorance with knowledges. Ignorance with knowledges. They are smart people. They have a lot of thinking. They are philosophers, religious great leaders. And another kind of ignorance, the ignorance without knowledge, without proper knowledge, without no knowledge. I just follow tradition. I just follow others. I don't know why. Some years ago, a gentleman who passed away in Hong Kong, because his position in Hong Kong was pretty high, and actually government gave him a special license. Do you know the license number? HK18, HK18. What does it mean in Hong Kong, HK18? Daisy?
It means have the ability to become wealthy.
Okay, good fortune. Number 1 fortune, number 1 prosperity. Okay, 18. The number 18 in Hong Kong, people just wanted to get it. Yeah.
Love the number.
Yeah. If your license number is 888, it's more expensive. And 18 is better. HK18, Hong Kong, number 1 fortune. So Hong Kong government, took the license and having an auction for the license plate. The highest bid will get the license. Okay. If you ask this person why you wanted to get HK18, I don't know. We just feel this is a lucky number. Why is lucky? We don't know. A lot of ignorance. We just follow superstitions. Just like in China, some people still burn paper money. And Judy, yeah, can you explain why people still burn paper money?
They think that after the loved one pass away in the afterlife, they still need the money. They still need to spend the money, so they burn the money for them to spend.
Yeah, not paper money, also including houses, paper houses, and clothes. And today they have iPhone. And also they have credit cards. Anything you feel human beings will use, they will consider life after death. Those living beings will use those, like us. That is the tradition in China. And Buddhism tried to change it, improve it. But it's going to take, so many 100 years, 1,000 years to improve. So over here at the Jade Buddha temple, you don't see people burning those paper money, because we try to let people have a right understanding, eradicate those ignorance, because we don't understand life after death. We're just guessing. After death, I wanted to have money. In the ancient time, you have to have gold and silver to be rich. Okay. Today we say American dollar or renminbi, that will do. So paper money. So over here, we educate people, try to help people to understand everything correctly, just not blindly follow some traditions, follow superstitions. Yes. And this is very important, because it's not easy to let people, understand why we don't have to burn paper money. When people burn paper money, they feel they are safe. They are on the safe side. Oh, my ancestors, they won't blame me. They are going to help me to make my business more successful. That's why. My health, my good family life depends on ancestors. So I wanted to please ancestors. So I burn paper money to satisfy their needs. That is the theory. But we don't understand is it true or not. Okay? So ignorance without knowledge, it happens in all kinds of a society, in all human beings' life. And also one example, I wanted to remind you or explain this example to you and invite you to think, when you hear some saying in your life, if you don't understand, just let it go. You don't want it to be trapped by those kind of words. Okay. Many years ago, a psychiatrist told me that there are two scientists in Colorado. Actually, they are PhDs students, graduate from one very famous university in US. They work for US Defense Department. What do you call it? Defense? Department of Defense? Okay. Because they study physics, they try to enhance, what do you call it? Missiles. They try to enhance, missiles for the U.S. government. So they study in a special department in Colorado area. One day, Mr. A told Mr. B, I wanted to go to Houston to see a lady. She's a fortune teller in Southwest area, very famous in Houston. I wanted to see her. And I have some question to ask about my future. Mr. B said, I don't agree with you. We are scientists. We should not, go to fortune tellers. And I don't believe the lady can tell you, the facts of your life. But you invited me to go with you, then I will accompany to go to Houston. I will check on the lady and use my scientific mind to observe this lady and what she's going to do to you. So Mr. A and Mr. B came to Houston, then rang the bell, entered the house. Before she invited them to sit down, the lady looked at Mr. B for some time. Check on Mr. B. After maybe some minutes, maybe 5 minutes, pretty long, check on him. Just stay on him, check on him. After a few minutes, this lady, fortune teller, told Mr. B, Mister, I don't know you, but I feel, I can predict, you only have 5 years to live. you only have 5 years to live. Mr. B was in shock. And suddenly, he didn't know how to react. He just felt that it's strange. Why this lady told me about this? Okay. At first, he told him that maybe I'm okay. I don't have to worry about this lady's words. So 2 of them stayed there for some time, then left back to Colorado. But somehow Mr. B couldn't get rid of those words in his mind. Am I really going to live only for 5 years? Yeah. And I'm going to die after 5 years? And what should I do if I'm really going to die after 5 years? The more he asked himself about his future life, the more fear inside him. You know, something you think every day. When you think more, then you make imprints deeper in your mind. Maybe it was not that serious, but after every day's thinking on this kind of a question, suddenly Mr. B couldn't concentrate. After 1 year, he resigned from his job. He said, I need rest because I couldn't concentrate. I feel I couldn't sleep well, I couldn't eat properly. Then he went to see the psychiatrist. That is a real story. So those people, those scientists, they are well educated in the university. They have a lot of knowledge about physics, but somehow they never study their own life. Is that right? Because for this part, it's ignorance. They don't know how to deal with this saying. And if he study Buddhist teaching, probably he can find a way, living in the present moment. You don't want to think how long you are going to live, because life is impermanent. Life is changing all the time. Okay, you properly take care of yourself, then you are going to enjoy your everyday life. As a monk, I don't want to worry how long I'm going to live. You don't want to have this kind of worry in your mind. Basically, we should not think that we can live for how long. You just live, be in the present moment, enjoy every moment, properly arrange you are doing, you are thinking, you will be okay. Okay. Yes.
So along with that line is, in Asian countries, there's a lot of practice in bad, evil, voodoo. What is your explanation? I mean, what is our mind should be thinking when you travel to countries like that, where they say, they put something in your drinks, they do something to your food and make the man fall in love with the people there or something. What is that about?
I don't really spend enough time to study in this area. I do hear something happen to some individuals. Today I may not have a good answer to your question, but in Buddhism I still believe that if your mind is thinking on the right path, your own doing is on the right path, basically you can protect yourself. Okay. Long time ago, a Qigong master in Houston, and he can move people's body. He will ask you to sit in front of him, and standing in front of you, then use his energy to move your upper body. A lot of people, try his Qigong power. They did move their body. They did move. Maybe wrong shape, You cannot control your upper body. You are going to move with his hand, left, right, or back and forth. And at the Buddha lecture hall, one day he came to us and he asked me to sit in front of him. I said, okay, let me try this. After I sit down, I just maintain my calmness and also concentrate my mind on the breath. I stayed there. Then he tried to move. He couldn't move me. I didn't follow his movements. And then he said, Venerable Hang Yi, you don't follow my energy. You don't follow my energy. I said, why I should follow your energy? I wanted to follow my own feelings. And so he couldn't move me. That was my own experience, okay, long time ago. So perhaps someday let me also understand those more, because I really don't understand what are those phenomena in some countries. Okay. And so that is the ignorance without knowledge. You don't really study, so you just feel there's a fear inside you after you hear something. Okay. And also, let's continue on this paragraph. Therefore, bodhisattvas always remember to listen and learn in order to develop their understanding and eloquence. In this sentence, I feel it's important for us to understand. When we say to listen and learn, what we wanted to listen, what we wanted to learn, actually, we have to understand. Okay, it doesn't mean every day I'm listening to all people. I'm listening to the radio. I'm listening to all kinds of TV programs. You are listening. You are learning, but how much you are going to gain in order to be happy and to be free? That is a question. A person may be listening and learning every day, but what we should learn, we should listen. We have to understand. So in Buddhism, when we say listening more and learning more, 多闻 in Chinese, actually there are some principles for that. When you say, I wanted to listen, I wanted to learn, improve myself in order to enhance my happiness, there are some principles there for us to develop this kind of listening and learning process. When we listen, when we learn, we wanted to learn the universal law of cause and effect, properly understand causes and effects, the law of causes and effects. For example, I'm not feeling well. Then you have to understand what caused this illness in order to cure this illness. If we cannot find the causes correctly, we cannot cure the illness. I'm not happy. Okay, today I feel I'm miserable. Then find those causes. Then eradicate those negative causes. If you feel you are happy, then properly understand what caused this happiness. Then maintain those causes, conditions. Keep those conditions. Okay. So this is something we wanted to listen, to learn the law of cause and effect. And also we wanted to learn to listen the teaching of impermanence. I wanted to understand what is the meaning of impermanence. Why we say phenomena are impermanent. I wanted to enhance my understanding on impermanence. And in order to create a kind of attitude, because everything is changing, everything is impermanent. So I wanted to build up an attitude to cherish every moment. Okay, this is something we wanted to improve. We wanted to learn. And cherish every moment, all conditions that we have. What we wanted to learn, we wanted to learn the teaching of loving kindness, the teaching of compassion. No, I may not have enough compassion. I may not have enough loving kindness. I hope certain kind of teaching can cultivate my loving kindness, my compassion toward others. Because we believe loving kindness, compassion are roots of happiness. If you don't have this, it's difficult to be happy. Okay. Of course, we wanted to learn the teaching of selflessness. Yeah. Every day when I see people, I always show my ego, my self-centered personality. Do you want to be with me all the time? Maybe not. Oh, you are too strong. Your personality is not easy to be, to talk to you, to do work with you. Difficult. Yeah. So I wanted to understand, to learn to listen, the teaching of selflessness in order to improve myself. Okay. So this is the way we should do for listening and also learning. In order to develop their understanding and eloquence, in Chinese translation, understanding will directly translate into wisdom. In order to develop their wisdom and eloquence. Okay, so it's a different kind of translation. Sometimes, if we say understanding in Buddhism, we always add right understanding. Right understanding. Okay, and eloquence. Eloquence means a skill, ability. After listening and learning, you are well organized, all those kind of understanding. You can use it. You are not just follow people's words. You are skillfully put them together, use them at any time. Eloquence. Okay. And sometimes as a monk, we wanted to, to teach people how to share our understanding with others. It does require some skills. In this way, people will understand. In another way, people will easily accept your words. Okay? Be skillful. Skillful sometimes means the way you talk. Also, skillful means your daily life. Actually, you act on those teachings in daily action. So people will learn from what you do in everyday's life. It doesn't mean always use your words to teach others. You wanted to show with your own action, your own doing. That is the most skillful way. Yeah. I remember that perhaps the venerable issue in Japan. I'm not sure this story is related with him or not, but there was a very famous venerable in Japan or China, let's say in Japan, because he's a very interesting monk, very funny sometimes, even when he was young. Venerable Issue. One day, the weather was very good. The sun was shining. Then the head monk of the temple announced that today, because the weather is so good, let's dry the sutras. In ancient time, we have a printing sutras and in shelves. And at least once a year or twice a year, you have to bring those sutras, put them under the sun to dry those papers. Don't let it, to be wet. A lot of moisture keep inside. So dry sutras is one kind of work at the temple. In ancient monastery. So one day all monks were busy to bring all the sutras out. And Venerable Issue, he was a young monk at the time. And He just simply walked out and lay himself on the ground, opened his belly, and just lay under the sun. You should go and bring sutras to the ground and enjoy those sutras. I'm enjoying sutras. I'm enjoying sutras. You're not doing anything. Why you say you are enjoying sutras? Oh, you don't know. All the sutras are in my stomach. In East, even in China, sometimes we say, I remember all the teachings, in my mind in Western world. But in Asia, in China, sometimes we will say, all the sutras are in my stomach. I keep it in my stomach. I'm full of those sutras. That means I study a lot. Yeah, in ancient time we don't say I always put my stomach in my mind, but sometimes we say, oh, my stomach. So Venerable Ishu just demonstrates one teaching to all other monks. You need to put all the sutras in your stomach. Remember the sutras. You don't always depend on paper sutras. That was his teaching. So sometimes arrogance related with skill. Suddenly a lot of monks felt that, oh, he's so unusual. He's so wise. We need to learn from him. We wanted to, study from him. We wanted to memorize all the sutras. Put sutras in the stomach. Okay. And finally, this enables them to educate living beings and bring them to the realm of great joy. What is a great joy? Or what are the great joys? From the beginning, I did mention that every one of us, we wanted to enjoy our life. We wanted to be a happy person. And when we say, I wanted to be happy, what is the meaning of happiness? What is the quality of happiness? What do you mean when you say, I'm happy? Okay. And sometimes the definition of happiness and the conditions of happiness, maybe we are not clearly understand, and also we may not be able to accumulate the proper condition in order to be happy. So ask ourselves, when we say great joy, great happiness, what do you mean by that? Even it's not great, common happiness, normal happiness, what do you mean by that? Okay. So today I feel that let's check on those conditions or qualities. In my own feeling, I feel if a person who says he's happy, sometimes it means this person can maintain his or her calmness most of the time or all times. When your mind is calm, actually that is the foundation of happiness. I feel I'm not, in certain kind of destruction. I feel my mind is always stable. I have the still mental stage. Most of the time, this person will enjoy happiness. Yeah. Whenever we have calmness, happiness will go with you. Also, some people enjoy their life. They feel they are happy because they feel there's no one that I hate, no enemies around me. I feel enjoyable to be with everyone. That is a kind of a joy, we wanted to have. If you feel someone you don't like, someone you hate, at first you wanted to try avoid this person. is he or is she going to Jade Buddha temple today? If he goes, I don't go. So basically, we are distracted by this kind of thinking. Even though sometimes, as human beings, we may not be able to like everyone, but we have to learn to treat everyone equally and also try to contemplate, I wanted to be friend with everyone. Even it's difficult, but it's better in this way. Then everywhere you go, you feel there is a joy around you. Okay. How about when I think about my death, I don't have much fear in my mind. Also, that is another kind of joy. Yeah. When I think about my death, every time when I go to funeral service, I will contemplate on this. Someday I'm going to be there to lie, in the coffin. People will come and a funeral service for Venerable Han Yi. So how are you going to deal with this? Do we still have fears and sadness? If we have less fear and sadness, then we are going to, be okay. Of course, in Buddhism we say, we don't worry about birth. Birth is already happened. Also, we don't worry about death because after we practice meditation and also improve our understanding on the Dharma, then we can manage ourselves to deal with death. So there's no fear of death. Also, that is kind of joy that we can get. Okay, Venerable Shariputra, a very wise disciple of Buddha. When Buddha told him, Shariputra, I'm going to attain Nirvana very soon. And one day Shariputra told Shakyamuni Buddha, Buddha, my great teacher, before you enter Nirvana, I wanted to go back to my mother's place and pay my respect to my mother. Shariputra was 80 years old. Buddha and him, they have the same age. Okay. I wanted to go to my mother's home and pay respect to my mother. And my mother was already 100 years old. So after I pay respect to my mother, also I wanted to enter Nirvana before Buddha, you. So if you study Shariputra's story, they can manage when they wanted to abandon this body. They have a freedom to do that. And also in China, many great masters, they will tell you, after 7 days, I'm going to abandon this body. So I wanted to say goodbye to you all. And so it's possible. It's not impossible. It's possible. Freedom from death. Yeah. And freedom from the fear of death. Okay. So today we talk about ignorance, and I wanted to conclude my talk at this moment. Any questions? Yes.
Sir, greed, anger, and ignorance. Is fear a part of greed or anger? Fear.
Fear. Oh, what do you say?
Heck no.
Huh? Fear.
I mean, there are things to be afraid of. The truck that's not stopping at the red light. I mean,
Okay.
there are
Okay.
things to be afraid of. Attention. Is that anger or ignorance?
Let me check on the Abhidhammakusa, Venerable Wu Zhuo. I think probably in his book, he's categorized all those kind of phenomena in a certain way. Let me check on this. Fears. Okay, fear. Now, Judy, maybe you help me to find the book, in English if we can. Yeah. 俱舍论, this is Abhidhammakusa. It's 百科全书怎么样? encyclopedia of Buddhism, of Buddha's teaching in Buddhism, encyclopedia. It does divide all kinds of mental reactions. There are 100 reactions in mind. Okay, so let me check on this. Yeah, before I give you an answer. Okay, yes, fear. Any other comments from today's talk? Okay.
I think with that question is fear and worry, right?
Worry.
Sometimes people just worry. So is that
Okay.
ignorance too? Worry for your kids, worry.
Yes.
You know?
Basically, all negative reaction from mind, from emotional feelings, basically is related with ignorance. So that's why 12 origination of the interdependence. The first condition is ignorance. Okay, so in Buddhism we say ignorance is the root of everything, all negative reactions. Yes, yeah. And when we have a greed, and maybe we wanted to better ourselves, so we wanted to take more, earn more, and occupy more. When we feel we cannot occupy more, not satisfied, then we have anger. So most of the time, anger follows greed. Yeah, greed first. Yeah, then anger later. Anger is not satisfied. There's only one apple. Why you take this one apple? Not let me have it. So sometimes because of this, yes. Okay. If there's no comments or question, let me conclude the talk at this moment. Okay.